So once we get our scene created, we can move on to actually setting up the interaction in the game. So first off, we're going to start off with a paddle coding. And when you think about it, you have to kind of define what exactly is our coding going to be, or what is our movement going to be. And in our case, the paddle is going to move up, it's going to move down. And eventually, we'll get to the ball, where the ball is going to be able to move left and right and bounce off the paddle as well. So let's get started. In Unity, we want to continue our organization by using folders. So the first thing I'm going to do, since I'm going to have multiple scripts or coding pieces, I'm going to right-click on Assets, and I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm going to name it Script or Scripts, whatever you want to name it. And then in there, I need to right-click over that folder, and I'm going to create this C number sign script, or how most people pronounce it, C#. And when I open that up, it asks for a name of the script, and I'm going to work on the right paddle first, so I'm going to say right paddle. It is very important that you name it right away. Otherwise, it kind of leaves you with headaches or no headaches later on. And then I'm going to double click here and open up the right paddle script, and it should give you something like this. At the top here, we've got the name that should match the name of the file. So rightpaddle.cs is going to be right here, right paddle. And then it gives us our, of course, void start and void update. If you remember from the past video, we have void start, which is our initializer function, or initialization function, and we have our void update that is called once per frame. So if we have a game that runs 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second, everything that we need to run will be called into that. So, interaction with the paddle, moving up and down. Well, we have a special command called input.getKey. And we have three versions of it. We have the getKey version. I'll type it so you can see it. getKey. We have the getKey down, and we have the getKey up. This getKey up is when I release a key or a input of some kind. The getKey down is when I first press a key down, and it only happens once, and both of these happen once, okay? And then getKey is while I'm holding down a key, okay? So the best one I'm going to use here is the input.getKey for when I hold down, and since I'm doing the right paddle, the up arrow or down arrow. So let's take a look at how that looks. I'm going to use an if statement because I need to check it. So I need to say, well, if input.getKey, parentheses, up, then I need to go to the end here and do a curly brace, hit return, and that curly brace should auto align for me. So if I am pressing the up key, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to move the paddle up. So I'm going to use a built-in function called translate that is used on our transform component of every game object. So I'm going to say transform, translate, and I'm going to do a vector2.up and hit return, or hit a semicolon at the end here. I'm going to save this script. It is always good to go back and forth between Unity and our scripts to make sure that down here in the corner I don't have any errors. If an error pops up like you're missing a semicolon, our console, which will look like this, will pop up with some red errors in which you need to go back and fix. Okay, so I got this right paddle kind of started. I'm going to attach it to my game object, so I have my paddle here. And all I need to do is drag it in over down here underneath the Add Component button, and it adds my right paddle script. I can hit the play button, and I can see how does this look. All right, it goes up pretty fast. It goes up really kind of too fast. So what we want to do is we actually kind of want to limit how fast our paddle is. And to do that, and to make it more realistic, we're going to use computer time, and we're also going to make sure we have a speed variable, because once we add computer time, it kind of slows it down a lot. But the computer time does help us with physics and computer lag, so that just in case we have a slower computer playing our Pong game, the physics and everything lines up nicely. So first I'm going to add my speed variable, and at the top, right under the class, the public class, this is where I'm going to add it, and I'm going to use a public modifier, which means I can see the variable in Unity's inspector, and I'm going to make it a of type float, so a decimal number, and I'm going to say speed is the name of my variable, and I'm going to set it equal to, I'm just going to say for now, we're going to do 8F. So F just stands for float, make it basically 8.0 as a decimal. Do a semicolon at the end because we need that at the end of every main command. And then come down here to my line where I transform.translate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it times that speed, and then I'm going to take it times time.delta time. And so this time.delta time is that computer time is what I was talking about, where everything is more in sync. And when I do this, this number is actually like 0.03. And vector2.up is literally the number 1. So if I would just leave it without this speed variable, it would literally be moving up at 0.03 each update frame. And that is super slow. So I'm going to hit Command S. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to Unity. Make sure I don't have any errors down here. Hit play. And see that my paddle kind of moves up, and I can like zoom out and you can see the speed of it, and it moves up and off the frame, of course. Notice over here on the right paddle, our speed variable has come up, so if I wanted to, I could change that. I can play around with the variable numbers, so I can hit play and see that my paddle's moving a little bit faster with speed of 10, which may be what I want, okay? But I only have the paddle moving up, so I really want it to move both up and down. So how do I do that? Well, it's very easy. I need to take this code here that I've already created. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to Command C to copy. Hit return after this curly brace, because this curly brace matches up with this curly brace. And then I'm going to paste the code down below. And I just need to make a couple changes. Well, what's my change? Well, input.getKey down for the down arrow. And instead of vector2.up, I need to say vector2.down times speed times time.delta time. Hit Command S to save. Again, making sure I have all these matching curly braces. I have this curly brace that matches up with the void update. And then I have this curly brace that matches up here with the mono behavior public class. It's very important. Command S for save. Come back over, make sure down here in the console that no errors pop up. Now, hit play, and let's see, I can move now the paddle up and down.